Good evening or good morning if you're watching this film in the morning. I need to start from apologizing because I was having technical difficulties streaming this film. So I will record it simply and you would be able to watch it later on this evening or tomorrow morning. Um, I changed the name of this session tonight because I think that in the Holy Week, when we are getting ready to celebrate a very important feast in the church, when we want to adore Jesus who gave his life for us and then he resurrected from the dead. I thought that it wouldn't be very appropriate if we do something silly. But in the same time, it came to me that we can still be creative and possibly use our creativity in the good way. So tonight I wanted to share with you two stories. One story is something that Father Peter from Ashford told me, and he was very pleased knowing that I would like to share it with you tonight. And the other story is the story that I said to the teenagers or young adults when they were leaving school a couple of years ago. So basically, to tell this story, to listen to this story, what we will need to have is the simple piece of paper. It looks like that. And I will show you exactly what I'm doing when I'm telling you this story. Well, the first story is the response to the question, where can we find God? I think that this question was present in people's minds throughout the ages. Everyone was really thinking, where can we find God? People were imagining different places, different forms where God might be. Um, but especially in the 20th century, when people started to be more technical, looking for God had a very different perspective. So at the beginning of the 20th century, people constructed the plane because they were convinced that God is in heaven. They started looking at the sky and wondering whether if they sit on the plane, they can find God. So we are making out of this piece of paper um, a little aeroplane. And this is how we're doing it. We are folding the top part of this paper, and then we are folding the top of this piece of paper into the shape of the aeroplane. Okay, so people were wondering that if God is in heaven, maybe they will be able to see him in the sky. And we're folding the paper so that we can form the wings of this plane. But unfortunately, even though they went to the skies, they were not able to see God. So what did they do next? Along with the time, the technical possibilities were far more efficient, and people thought that maybe if they construct a spaceship, they would find God up in the space. So we can tear out, it's not that easy, but we can tear out this paper into the form of a spaceship. And this is the image that of the rocket that people can use to go to the space. But unfortunately, even the spaceship didn't help them to find God. And they started wondering, if God is not in the sky, if God is not in the space, where is he? And they came back to the roots of faith, because God is simply on the cross. And this is where we can find God. The shape of the cross is always reminding us that God became human in Jesus Christ, and he gave up his life for us, and the cross is the shape, is the place, is the event in which we can find God. So you can use this quite a creative way to describe the love of God for us, and you can share this story with your friends. And now I wanted to what the consequences are of the fact that God loves us and he saved us. I think that every one of us, when we are born, we are like this white piece of paper, and we can be anything that we really want to. That's why we are trying to follow our dreams. But in the same time, every decision that we make is leaving within us something that creates some memories, and if we can be want to form our life, there is a mark that is left in our lives. And if we want to, for instance, be a pilot, so this is again the shape of the aeroplane, we need to go under a lot of training, and we are spending our time in that. So we can be a pilot of the aeroplane. If we want to be a footballer, we need a lot of time to practice with the ball. And this is the ball. But we need to remember that the time that we're spending in life, we cannot gain back. So if we do any mistakes, not every mistake we are able to correct. And sometimes people find themselves in the situation, in the position, that they feel not like a footballer, but like a ball. That they really cannot help themselves, or they feel very weak, very fragile. And what then? Well, God doesn't abandon anyone, and God can create the most beautiful things out of us if we really trust him. So for God, there is no people, there is no situations from which he's not able to create something beautiful. So even though some people might feel like a ball, might feel very weak, might feel a bit abandoned, might feel unsupported by others, God is still able to create from us most beautiful things. This is the symbol of the rose, and rose is the symbol of love. And I wanted to dedicate this story to everyone who might be feeling a bit down, who might be feeling maybe unsupported or quite lonely. And this story you can share with everyone to bring them the message that God never deserts us. And even though we might think that it's too late for us, there's never too late to renew our relationship with God. So this is what I have prepared for you tonight. I wish, and I'll be praying for all of you, that this Easter and this Holy Week we might experience God in a very special way, and we might rediscover His love more and more. So these two symbols of love I wanted to present to you, and I wanted you to share it with anyone who wants to discover and find God's love. God bless you all, and good night. Or have a good day if you're watching it in the morning. Bye bye.